You are listening to Dragon Slayer Azeviche, Chapter 2.
Azeviche stood in the center of the living room, her earlier shivers of excitement replaced by a sense of awe. Her eyes had adapted to the soft illumination, and her body no longer quivered as it had on the hills. The room appeared grand and luxurious, almost surreal to her. She ran her fingers over the elegant armchairs arranged in front of the fireplace, marveling at the ornaments that adorned its mantel. Crystal figurines, a silver platter engraved with inscriptions, and a trophy of some sort adorned the fireplace. Mounted on one wall was a portrait of an elderly man in an antique military uniform, his long white beard projecting an air of proud contemplation towards the distant horizon. This must be a very old and important commander, she surmised. The walls of the room were dressed in beautiful white wallpaper, embellished with delicate red flowers and verdant branches, captivating her gaze. Azeviche's eyes then fell upon a bookshelf, and her reaction was as if she had discovered a long-lost friend. She extended her arms in a welcoming gesture, as if embracing the multitude of colorful books that lined the shelves. Her small finger traced a gentle path over the vibrant spines, a tender caress for her newfound companions in the literary world. The bookshelf received her affection like a cherished relic. With closed eyes and a blissful smile gracing her face, her delight was palpable, observed by the onlookers in the room. Against one wall, encased within a wooden frame adorned with protective glass, rested a gleaming sword. A memento of past battles, Azeviche mused. However, the tantalizing aroma of food drifting in from the next room jolted her back to reality, eliciting an audible growl from her stomach. She glanced around at everyone, suddenly conscious of their presence. "This place is magnificent!" Azeviche exclaimed, her arms spread wide as she continued to twirl around the room. "It's like a palace, and you have books, so many books, all in different colors." She turned her gaze towards Rona, her stomach voicing its anticipation once more. "I think we should sit down for dinner before it gets cold," Rona suggested, leading the way to the dining table. This house had never seen a child before, but Azeviche's energy transformed it, bringing new life to its cold, ancient walls. Everyone gathered around the table, which was set as beautifully as if it were Christmas Eve. The adults in Muddy Peaks had all fought in the long and brutal war, but in that moment, those memories were pushed aside as they shared a meal. A sense of warmth and comfort filled the room, something they hadn't experienced in a long time. They savored each moment of joy as if it were the rarest treasure. The table was adorned with red cloth napkins and special silverware reserved for occasions like this one. But the most important thing was the food. The delicious aroma of the feast filled the air. In the center, a large turkey sat on a silver platter, surrounded by baked potatoes and broccoli. Steaming rice mixed with peas and yellow corn cobs completed the meal, and a pitcher of pineapple juice promised to sweeten their taste buds. Marcus raised his glass. "Let's toast to the newest member of Muddy Peaks," he said. But before he could take a sip, Azeviche spoke up. "May I say grace, please?" she asked. "Of course, dear. It's only fitting," Agnes replied. "We might have forgotten to wash our hands today," Rona chuckled, "but we'll make an exception for today." "Go ahead," Rona encouraged. Azeviche held hands with Rona and Agnes, and Marcus did the same from across the table. She closed her eyes, concentrating, and began her prayer. "May the spirit of the mighty Oluf watch over this house tonight. Bless this table and all of us with your holy presence. Amen." "Oluf?" Marcus inquired. "No," Azeviche replied, her finger pointed to the sky, her face wearing a serious expression. "Mighty Oluf. The protector of all orphans," Azeviche clarified for Marcus, who looked quite astonished. "Marcus, she believes Oluf is—" Rona began, but was cut off. "No, Rona, please, we'll explain it to Azeviche at the right time." "So, Oluf is the protector of orphans like in the books?" Agnes continued, asking the little girl. With a potato still in her mouth and another poised on her fork, Azeviche pointed the fork towards Agnes and said to Rona, "This is the kind of girl you want around in dangerous situations." She chewed the potato. "I like you, Agnes. I can tell you're one of us, aren't you?" "One of us?" Agnes inquired. "What do you mean by that?" Marcus added. Azeviche signaled for them to wait, her mouth still occupied by turkey. "Well, I'm always quick to recognize a fellow orphan," she explained with wide-eyed sincerity. Agnes gazed at Azeviche, thinking that she was a remarkable and perceptive child. "My dear," she smiled. "How did you know that I'm one of the orphans?" she asked curiously. They all admired the girl's straightforward and down-to-earth nature. "By the looks of it, you know the Olaf Chronicles, and all us orphans know that story by heart because we've been hearing it at the orphanage since we were very, very young." With another bite of turkey, Azeviche playfully pointed her pinky finger at Agnes. "My stomach is telling me that whoever prepared this turkey deserves congratulations," she remarked. "Oh, how wonderful," Rona beamed, taking pride in herself. "That would be me." Everyone dined in silence for a moment, and Marcus avoided telling Rona that about 1 hour ago, Azeviche had fainted from fatigue at the train station and was behaving in the most exquisite way. Why spoil such a happy moment, he thought. There will be enough time to discuss such matters and all its details with Rona tomorrow. Agnes suddenly found herself surrounded by ancient memories. She was indeed an orphan girl, just as this one, who now shared the dinner table with them. She had gone through difficult times in the past, days of struggle and hunger, but also of glory in battles. Finding a friendly hand, as they were now extending to this young lady, was very hard to find in those days. Images of the past revolved in a whirlwind through the head of the 60-year-old woman. She had suffered the trauma of battles, it was true. Yet Agnes wouldn't change a thing. This was what built her character. Somehow, when she looked at Jet, she saw a reflection of herself when she joined the battalions to fight against the Draconites years ago. The sensitivity of Jet had touched Agnes in her very soul, captivating her heart. She tried to contain a rush of curiosity, but couldn't hold it back. "It's very perceptive of you to notice this, that I was an orphan," she said. "Even though one that saw older battles, I believe we must have experienced similar difficulties. Don't we, my dear?" Agnes touched her lips, holding back a tear. She then took a sip of juice, trying to swallow bitter memories. "Yeah, maybe we all have the same glow in our eyes," Agnes said, putting the silverware to rest on the table and looking at everyone while still frantically chewing and trying to swallow everything quickly. "Of course, Azeviche, it makes sense. They sent me to live with heroes," Azeviche exclaimed, interlacing her fingers like in a prayer, hands near her chest.
Thank you for listening to Dragon Slayer Azeviche.